Ronaldinho made football feel like magic. Ballon d'Or winner, Champions League champion, the man who made the Bernabeu rise to applaud an opposing player. For one brief, breathtaking window, he was the most joyful force the game had ever seen. Then, almost as fast as he reached the summit, it was over. How a boy from Porto Alegre became football's greatest entertainer, and why it couldn't last. On March 21, 1980, Ronaldo de Assis Moreira was born into the working-class neighborhood of Vila Nova, Porto Alegre. Here, among narrow alleys and concrete courts, street football shaped his earliest instincts. His father, João, a shipyard welder and amateur player, recognized his son's connection to the ball, once building a maze of chairs in the yard for a 6-year-old Ronaldo to dribble through. But in 1988, when Ronaldo was only 8, João suffered a fatal heart attack in the family pool. The tragedy left a lasting wound, shifting the emotional weight of their lives. His mother, Miguelina, worked to keep the family afloat, while his older brother, Roberto de Assis, became the guiding figure who protected and directed the boy's incredible talent. Roberto urged him to play with absolute freedom, a philosophy that birthed a legend. During a local youth match, the 13-year-old Ronaldo scored every single goal in a 23-0 victory. It was the first public sign of a gift that looked completely unreal, long before the world ever knew his name. In early 1998, just weeks before his 19th birthday, Ronaldo signed his first professional contract with Grêmio. The raw street prodigy had officially entered the arena of men. His playground shifted instantly to the grand stage of the Copa Libertadores, making him the youngest Brazilian to appear in the prestigious tournament that season. On these historic pitches, his wild, improvisational instincts did not fade under tactical discipline. They sharpened into a weapon. During a grueling debut season, he proved his joyful style belonged at the highest level, registering 52 appearances, 8 goals, and 7 assists. Grêmio became the perfect launchpad, translating his backyard imagination into devastating professional output. Brazil had found its next great magician, a teenager playing with the wisdom of a veteran and the soul of a child. In the summer of 2001, the European stage beckoned. Ronaldinho joined Paris Saint-Germain in a transfer eventually valued around 30 million euros. Paris became his first true proving ground, a demanding arena that tested whether his backyard style could survive the rigid tactical systems of Europe. Inside the disciplined French league, friction soon emerged. Managers demanded defensive duties and structured positioning, while Ronaldinho sought only the ball and the freedom to create. Yet even when the fit was imperfect, his genius could not be contained. His explosive speed, stepovers, and brilliant goals turned Paris into a theater of anticipation. He was rapidly becoming a global talking point, a young entertainer captive to a system that could not fully free him. The ultimate release of his magic was still to come. In July 2003, Barcelona president Joan Laporta brought Ronaldinho to Catalonia in a transfer valued at 30 million euros. His unveiling at Camp Nou drew 25,000 fans, but the true spark caught fire at midnight on September 3rd during his home debut against Sevilla. Picking up the ball in his own half, Ronaldinho slalomed past 2 defenders and unleashed a roaring 30-yard strike off the crossbar and in. It was a moment of pure electricity that shook the stadium, instantly shifting the energy of a club that had spent years in the shadows. Under head coach Frank Rijkaard, Barcelona abandoned defensive rigidity for a fluid attacking system built entirely around the Brazilians' creative freedom. Rijkaard's tactical reboot paid off rapidly, transforming the collective mood. Barcelona captured consecutive La Liga titles in the 2004 to 2005 and 2005 to 2006 seasons. Individually, Ronaldinho stood at the absolute zenith of world football, claiming the 2005 Ballon d'Or before orchestrating Barcelona's triumph in the 2006 UEFA Champions League. Yet, Ronaldinho's most enduring gift to Camp Nou was his warmth. Inside a dressing room of global superstars, he noticed a quiet, 17-year-old Lionel Messi. Rather than guarding his status, Ronaldinho welcomed the teenager, calling him over to sit next to him in the locker room. He protected the young prodigy, assisted his very first professional goal, and actively nurtured his confidence. As Messi later recalled, Ronaldinho told him to take his number 10 shirt one day and keep the magic going. Rijkaard observed this spirit return to the club, recognizing that Ronaldinho had not only made Barcelona alive again, but had personally built the bridge to its next golden era. He bypassed defenders by inviting them into a shared illusion, leaving them frozen as he executed the lightning-fast elastico, an impossible snake-like flick of the ankle that defied physics. His signature was the theater of anticipation. He looked left and passed right, his no-look vision slicing through world-class defensive blocks with a casual flick of his heel. This flair was highly efficient. His playfulness served as a devastating tactical weapon, completely distinct from empty exhibition. Joy was his engine, and delight became a genuine competitive advantage on the world's most demanding pitches. In an era dominated by rigid systems and physical stamina, he proved that pure imagination could break any defensive structure. Every curled free kick over a wall, every chest control, and every overhead strike expanded what fans believed elite football could look like. He elevated the 90-minute athletic match into a canvas of pure expression, making the sport feel light, creative, and entirely free. He played with the absolute freedom of a child on the concrete courts of Porto Alegre, yet executed his art with devastating precision against the greatest athletes on earth. For these golden seasons, he made millions fall in love with the game all over again, offering a glimpse of football at its most beautiful, magical, and unrestrained. Sustaining this extraordinary standard of physical expression required an athletic toll that eventually came due. In October 2006, a grade 2 hamstring tear sidelined Ronaldinho, his first serious muscular injury at Barcelona. It was not a sudden collapse, but a gradual accumulation of physical friction. Over the next 2 seasons, recurring adductor strains and persistent knee tendinitis eroded the explosive acceleration that made his dribbling so devastating. At the same time, elite football was changing. Rigid tactical systems increasingly demanded relentless pressing and high-intensity running metrics. For a player who thrived on absolute creative freedom and lived with a relaxed, scrutinized lifestyle, these new physical demands became overwhelming. The shortened peak was not a failure of talent, but the simple human difficulty of keeping such rare magic burning in an increasingly mechanized game. The end of Ronaldinho's European summit did not mean the end of his relevance. He moved first to AC Milan, contributing 26 goals before returning to Brazil with Flamengo. But his true second act arrived in 2012 with Atlético Mineiro. By 2013, he had guided the club to the Copa Libertadores final against Olimpia. Trailing 2-0 after the first leg, the squad looked defeated. Yet before the return match, Ronaldinho rallied his teammates in the dressing room, urging them to believe they would win. The team responded, scoring twice to level the aggregate score and ultimately capturing the historic crown on penalties. Striker Joe and Captain Reaver celebrated alongside their veteran leader. The triumph earned Ronaldinho the 2013 South American Footballer of the Year award, proving his ability to inspire championships remained untouched. His story was no longer a simple decline, it was a glorious redemption. In today's hyper-systematic game, we rarely see such unscripted genius. Ronaldinho's legacy is a lasting reminder of why we fell in love with football's pure, joyful heart. But a haunting question lingers. What if Ronaldinho had stayed at his peak for just 5 more years?